Right, so sitting on the mat, legs out straight, and so the whole thing hinges with the pelvis. The pelvis has to be vertical all the time. So soften those knees. So this is the first part, Anne and Sarah. So soften the knees and feel your seat bone. So pull yourself forward so that you've got a big bend here. So I'm not still sagging here onto my tailbone. I've got to lift up so that my middle bottom is down to the floor, and I hold onto the back of my legs and pull myself up there. So I rock from side to side on that pelvis. And then gradually I work out what's restricting me. I pull my shoulders back. So let's roll the shoulders to start with and see if we can loosen them up. And that will probably feel a little bit tight. By the end of the session, we hope that feels looser. And then holding them back, we're going to push that right knee down a bit and then push that left knee down, but not allowing the back to move as we do the leg like that. We've got to hold up still on that middle bottom, push that left leg down, or right leg rather, push that left leg. Push that right leg. Mum, keep your chin up, push the left leg. Sarah, keep the chin up, yeah. Push that right leg. Now keep that right leg down as far as you can and take the left leg down too. And hold behind those thighs, pulling yourself up tall. So we're forcing it in a way to stay there. Now we're going to release the back and the hands and round that back backwards. So we're really doing a cat and dog stretch, sitting. Hold behind those thighs and then pull yourself back up. So pull that tummy button towards those thighs, push the breastbone up, and now you can take the chin up to the sky. And you can even put the hands on the floor behind is another way to push that chest and belly forward. But you tend to lose the bend at the hip doing this. And then release the hands, push the legs down and round yourself forward and stretch through that back. And then sit yourself up nice and tall and put your right hand on your left knee, left behind. And then the purpose of your left hand, on that way, round on the left. So the purpose of the left hand is to lift that body up so we stay straight while we turn. And then we come back to the center, put the left hand on the right knee, right behind, push off that right arm and keep that 90-degree bend at the hip and turn. So we're turning the spine flat to flat. And then come back to center. And then reaching those hands forward towards those feet. Rolling all the way down. And then sitting yourself up vertical again. Grab your roller in, or if you want to use a squishy ball, that's fine. And then just with your legs, soften those knees so that as we lean back, it's not too much tension. So lean back onto the bottom ribs, using the elbows, breathe on the roller, breathing in. And on the out breath, just extend over, let those ribs flare up, let the head come down. Push those ribs up, lengthen the front of your body. Breathing in, breathing out. And then bring your head, hold onto your head if you want, and lift your head back up. So take your head in your hands, move the roller down a little bit. And then just open that chest up. And let that head hang in your hands. And then bring it back. And then move the roller a little bit further up to your shoulders. Breathing in, on the out breath, open. And let that head hang down. And then just holding your head, just move the roller. We're going to roll down to the bottom ribs, up through the top. So trying to let the chest go up and try and feel a stretch through the ribs on the underneath of the tummy as you move the roller. And then we're going to lean on the left-hand side a bit. And then we go straight. And then we lean on the right-hand side. And then we go straight. And then just rolling up and down. And then just rest your bum down with the roller on the sort of bra strap area. And then can you get your heads on the ground in that position or not? No. Okay, just stretching, just rest and stretch there. And then bring the chin into the chest and roll yourself all the way up and sit yourself back up. So the roller mobilizes us. So move it out of the way. So sitting tall. So now if we do this one again, roll our shoulders up to the ears, back and down. Keep the knees bent. Hold behind the thighs and pull yourself up. Reach the head to the ceiling. It should feel easier to sit on that middle bottom because there's more mobility in your spine. So holding under the thighs, pull forward, lengthen the head to the ceiling, open that chest, put the hands on the floor behind and just push forward, and then push that right knee down, push that left knee down, push both knees down. And then release the hands off the floor, bring your hands up in front. Does that feel easier sitting like that, Anne?
Perhaps a little bit.
Okay.
About the same.
About who's that, Max? So it's the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got to get that spine mobilizing. So we've got to invert it. So we've got to be brave to get the head back. So we get the chest up. Okay, hold the hands on vertical. Drop the knees down, and we're going to lower ourselves down to the floor. So lowering one vertebra at a time, all the way down to the ground. Take those hands all the way over your head and pushing your fingers away from your toes. Bring your hands back up to the sky and back up down by your side. Turn your palms upwards and slide them under your bottom. Roll the shoulders up to the ears into the floor, slide them down, and then push off your elbows and just lift onto your head. So you're resting onto the back of your head and on your bottom, pushing off the elbows. So your elbows become like a center of a tent, pushing your chest up to the sky. Lengthen the legs away, drawing the tummy in, opening the chest. So breathing in, fill your ribs up with air, stretching them. Breathing out, squeeze the shoulders together behind your back and then lower the back onto the floor. Then bring your left knee in and then bring your right knee in. So the action we did where we arched the back up is called the fish pose. And that is the same as we did sitting, but this time we don't have the hip flex, we don't have the legs, the hips bent, so it should be easier on the stretch. Pulling those knees in towards our armpits. Take that right knee out, right leg out straight, and then take the left leg out straight. Take the hands all the way over the head, reaching and stretching, and then bring the fingers up to the sky. Down by your side, slide your fingers under your bum. Roll the shoulders up to the ears into the floor, slide them down. Push the elbows into the ground and lift yourself up again. So lengthen those legs away, pushing that breastbone up high, breathing in, breathing out, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Lengthen the head away from the breastbone and lengthen the pubic bone away from the breastbone. So we're stretching across the tummy, pushing off those elbows, filling those lungs up with air, breathing in, and then breathing out. Lower yourself down to flat. And then bring the left knee in, bring the right knee in. This time we're going to lift the tailbone up off the ground and bring the nose to the knee. So we're doing exactly what we did sitting, where we leant forward to reach to our toes. And now release. We're mobilizing the back, but we've got different things restricting. And then release. Roll the shoulders into the floor and down, put those ribs on the floor, lift that lower back slightly, and then lower the right foot, and then lower the left foot, keeping that core strong. So now we're going to work on the core, stabilizing this spine. So roll those shoulders up to the floor, down and back, slide the fingers down towards the feet. Make sure your ribs are all on the ground, so we're not on a curved upper back. Lift that breastbone up if you need. Squeeze those shoulder blades together and lift that lower back slightly, drawing in the core like you're stopping yourself having a wee. Extend that right leg out straight. Now bring that right leg back in without letting the back move. Take that right leg out. Bring that right leg back in. So if our back is moving, it might be the hip flexors that are affecting it. Take that right leg out. So when you run and walk, your leg has to be able to extend behind you. Bring that right leg back in. Like I showed you before, extend that right leg out without the pelvis moving. So if your pelvis is moving now and your lower back is changing shape on the floor, then you will be moving your back when you're walking and running. Bring that knee back in. Extend the left leg out straight. So there we have to work on the hip flexors. Bring that leg back in. Extend that left leg out straight. Bring that leg back in. So I'm just dragging it on the floor, but I can get a workout on my tummy muscles doing this. So I'm sure you can. Keep your shoulders back and down. Keep that tummy engaged. Keep that lower back slightly elevated. Clench the left buttock as you extend that leg out straight. Push the left buttock towards into the hip flexor. Pull that leg back in. Lift that left leg off the floor. Lift that right leg off the floor. Take that right toe down to the floor. Drag that leg out to straighten it. Slowly to straight now. Slowly bring it back in for 4, 3, 2, 1 and lift. Take that right leg, toe to the, other leg, toe to the floor. Extend it out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back for 4, 3, 2, 1 and lift it. Take the right leg, toe to the floor. Out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back for 4, 3, 2, 1. Left leg over to the floor. Out straight for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back for 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding both legs up, holding both feet in the air, staying in this position. We're going to lift the upper body up. So I've got my upper back off the floor, head off the floor, arms are pushing down towards my feet. My lower back is elevated. My tummy's engaged. I'm going to take that right foot down to the floor. I'm going to extend that right leg out. So in this position, when you lift your head up, now bring that leg back in. Is your lower back pushing on the ground? Take the left leg, because it shouldn't be. Touch it on the floor. Extend that leg out straight. Bring it back in. Support your head in your hands if you need. Take that right leg down, touch the floor. Extend that right leg out straight. Bring that right leg back in. So my lower back is still elevated. Take that left foot to the floor. Take it out straight. Bring it back in. Take that right leg out. Push it out straight. So if you have your lower back pushing into the ground, bring it back in. You're encouraging a rounded lower back posture. Take that left leg down. Extend it out straight. Bring it back in. Rest the head and the shoulders on the floor. Take your arms up into a sort of, take your arms out like a scarecrow. Drop your legs to the left, turn your eyes to the right. Breathing in, breathing out and release. Bring your legs up, turn them over to the right, turn your eyes to the left. Feel the stretch through the side of your body. Bring yourself back up. Bring both knees into your body, lift the tailbone off the ground and release. Take that right leg all the way out straight. Push the right leg away from the top of the head and then pull that left leg all the way over your body onto the floor on the right hand side. Turning your eyes to the left, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, Breathing out. Now roll yourself onto the right hand side, resting your head on your arm. So now we're going to stretch these hip flexors. So this is the same as we've done kneeling. Take hold of the foot. So I tip my body forwards a bit. So I'm leaning over onto this elbow and onto the front side, the top side, the front of the side of my leg. Taking hold of my left foot in my left hand, I tighten my tummy, so my crutch, tummy button and breastbone are all in a vertical line or a horizontal line with each other. Pull this left foot behind me. Clench my bum and push the hip flexors, push into my hip flexors. Push this foot into my hand. So pushing the foot into my hand, feel the tension. Release the push and then clench my bum and push the hip forward and the foot further away from my bum. So I stretch through the front of that leg. And then release. Roll back onto your back. Now we're going to do an experiment. Lift that knee, hold that left knee in, bring the right knee in. Roll those shoulders up to the ears, down and back. Push those feet, those fingers away from you. Take that left foot over to the floor and straighten that leg out. Feel those shoulders into the floor, ribs in the floor, lower back slightly lifted. Bring that left foot back in, lift it up. Take the right toe down to the floor, extend that right leg out straight. Now you should feel a little difference between each side. Bring that leg back in. The left side should feel like it's not affecting the body anymore. So roll those shoulders up to the ears into the floor. Keep those ribs on the ground, lower back slightly lifted. Left toe touches the floor, extend that left leg out straight. So you should feel like you can take that leg down to the floor. It's not arching your hip bone. Bring that leg back in. On the other hand, take the right toe to the floor, extend that out straight, and you will probably find you can't push the back of your thigh to the floor as easy as you could on the other side.
No, that's right. And it hurts.
Bring that leg back in. Okay, so put the left foot on the floor and just straighten that leg out. So now we're going to stretch the right side. So pull the right leg over your body. Take that right leg down, take that right hand away. Really push the right hand from the right shoulder and the right hip from the right shoulder. So sometimes it's good to do these little comparisons because then it reminds you of the importance of what you're actually doing. Push that knee to the floor, push the knee away from the hip, push the hip away from the shoulder. So stretch through the body as well as stretching the leg. Stretch the hand away as well as so we stretch the shoulder. And then roll over onto this left hand side. And align yourself first of all. So you've got your tummy button. Oi, crutch, tummy button. Shush. No. You've got your crutch, tummy button and breastbone in a line. Leaning onto the front of the top of that leg. Take hold of this top leg. Take hold of the right foot in the right hand. Roll the shoulder up to the ear, down and back. And then pull that right foot behind you into a stretch. And then push the foot into the hand. So part of the way I stretch is I do this tense and releasing, which helps you get a deeper stretch. So we're pushing the foot into the hand, engaging the quad muscle, engaging the bum muscle, engaging the tummy. So we're keeping the alignment in the joints by having the muscles engaged. Breathing in, on the out breath, release that push, clench with the bum, push the hip forward and push the foot and the hand further away from you behind. So you deepen the stretch and you increase the range of motion in that hip joint. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay, release that. Roll over onto your back again. Bend the knees up, feet are flat on the floor. Roll the shoulders up to the ears into the floor, slide them down. Put the top ribs on the floor, middle rib, bottom rib. Flatten that lower back, arch that lower back. Find the middle position. Lift the left foot up, lift the right foot up. Pop the left foot on the ground, slide it out to straight. Feel how you've got, feel the extension of that hip. Bring that foot back in. Draw in the core, take the right foot down to the floor, slide that out straight. Now that should feel easier on that end range of motion. Bring it back in. Do you get the pain still, Anne?
Yeah, in the hip really now.
In the hip, so
Yeah.
not lower back.
More, a bit both.
Okay, drop the feet back on the ground. Okay, let's do some bridging. So rolling those shoulders into the floor, push through the heels, toes are soft, flatten the lower back on the ground, clench the bum and lift those hips up off the ground and come onto your shoulder. So you clench the bum and push into the hip flexors. Sarah, how's your lower back?
It's okay at the moment. I think it's when I take the roller lower down on my back and stretch over it that it seems to lock at the base of the spine.
Okay, hang on. Everybody lower the back to the floor. So the roller should not be on your lower back. It should be from the bottom.
No. But when it's at the bottom of my hips, bottom of my ribs,
Yeah,
and then stretch over it. That's when I feel the lower part of my back lock.
okay. So what we got to do, so what can be happening then is that the pelvis stays vertical and there's a compression in the lower back. So you've got to tighten your tummy and pull the top of your pelvis down to, or flatten that lower back towards the floor and you've got to let the bend, the give be in the ribs, not in the lower back.
Right.
Right, so you've got to tighten the tummy, so you shorten the pubic bone to the bottom ribs and you flare the ribs. So that if you imagine yourself, I would imagine your upper back's being a bit straighter over the roller and the lower back's having you've got to even the curve up over the roller.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so roll those shoulders into the floor, pushing off the heels, clench the bum, flatten the back, push the heels into the floor and lift. So this is the same. When you're up high here, you want to make sure that you're pushing through your bum is tight, your lower back is not grabbing. And then ease and lower. So when I used to do the bridge, when I started Pilates, my lower back used to hurt doing this because I was grabbing at my lower back. So if you come at it where your shoulders are flat on the floor, you flatten the lower back into the ground, you lift that tailbone off the ground and clench the knee, clench the bum. So you can clench the bum by pulling, if you put your hands next to your thighs, pull your knees out, your legs outwards into those hands, and then clenching with the bum, lifting up. So we're pushing into those hip flexors. So we're doing the stretch that we just did on our side, but now we're doing it by having the feet on the floor and the bum is clenching and lifting those hips up high, and now lower that back down to the ground. Arch the back at the bottom so you get the mobility going, and then round the back by flattening into the floor, lifting the bum up, pushing through into those hip flexors, stretching, pushing the fingers down to the heels, lifting up nice and tall, and then lowering down. So you use your breath, you breathe out on the movement, in at the top and the bottom. So we breathe in here, breathe out, curling, clenching with the bum, lifting, hold yourself here. Then we can make an extension with the arms over the head. So that then locks the shoulders. Now we've got to work harder, breathe in, And on the out breath, lower the spine, but we've got to work harder through that upper back because our arms are over our head. And now work harder with the tummy to get the lower back on the floor before the bottom, and then bring the arms back over the head. Breathing in. On the out breath, push through the heels, clench the bum, lift those hips up high. So we're bending at the hip, pushing the hip up, clenching the bum, not arching the lower back. Bring the arms all the way over the head. Breathe in. On the out breath, lower the body one vertebra at a time from the top down. So get the lower back, get the lower thoracic down and the upper lumbar down before the tailbone touches the floor. And then bring the arms back down by the side. So it does matter that you don't go down flat in this. Breathing in, breathing out, flatten the back, clench the bum, lift up, push into those hip flexors, push those fingers down towards the heels, lengthen, push the hips up high, bring those arms over the head, breathing in, and then on the out breath, lengthening the spine. So we're getting mobility in our spine with our arms doing something different, and then arching the back at the bottom, bring the arms back down by the side. Breathing in on the out breath, flatten the back, push through the heels and lift. Hold yourself here. So now we can challenge the glute muscles. So pushing on the right foot, push the right heel, clenching on the right bum, pushing the right hip into the sky. Lift the left heel up. Oops. Lower the left heel down. Is that Jane? Have you got cramp there?
Yeah, I got cramp in my right hamstring. It's fine.
Lower the body down, everyone. I don't want you all hanging out at the top. Right, you get cramp when you're using your hamstring and not your glutes.
Right.
So you got to try to push into those hip flexors with the glute muscles. So first of all, you either get cramp because it's an overload of the leg, so you are using the hamstring instead of the glute, or you get it because you have an impingement of the lower spine, of the lower back, where the nerve's coming out, which is grabbing the sacroiliac. Sorry, it's the sciatic nerve getting cramped. But both of those issues are solved by the same solution, which is to not overarch the lower back. So roll the shoulders into the floor, push off the heels, flatten the lower back, push the heels into the floor and lift. So I'm curling. So my crutch is leading to the sky. I'm not arching that lower back. Crutch is leading. So my bum muscles are tense. So Jane, if you want to go back down again and keep it easy, anyone who wants to challenge a bit further, lift the left heel up off the ground and then lift the left toes up, so the left foot's up, put the left foot back down and then lower the body down again. So we're standing on one leg, which makes the, obviously it's harder for the glutes. Curling, lifting, all the way back up again. Clenching with the bum, this time we do the other leg. So push the left heel in the ground, lift that right heel up, lift the right toes up, put the right foot back down and then lower the body down. So what we're aiming to do is not have the hip drop of the leg we lift. And why are we doing this? Because when we walk, we stand on one leg. So curling, breathing in, on the out breath, lift that tailbone up, push those heels into the floor, push those glutes up high, lift that left heel up, lift that left foot up, put that left foot down. See if you can do the other one. Push the left heel in the floor, lift the right heel up, right foot up, right foot down, and then lower. Arch the back at the bottom, breathing in. On the out breath, one more time. Clench the bum, push through the heels, lift that back up, pushing the glutes up high, lift that left heel up, lift the left toes up, put the left foot down, lift the right heel up, lift the right toes up, put them down and lower. And I find that after the first one feels impossible, and the last one, it's like the body's got used to what it's doing. Lift the knees up, bring the knees into the chest, bring those nose to the knees. Bring the nose to the knees. And release, breathing in. On the out breath, nose to the knees and release. Take those arms out like a scarecrow. Drop the knees to the right hand side, eyes to the left. And then lifting those legs up, turn the legs over to the right. Sorry, to the left, eyes to the right. And then lift those legs back up. Take your legs out straight. Bring your fingers all the way up to the sky. Breathing in and on the out breath, reaching to those feet, chin into the chest, roll yourself all the way up. Reaching towards those feet, soften the knees, pulling yourself forwards. And then sitting yourself up nice and tall. Okay, so with the cramp, so it is all about the bum muscles, bum and tummy. So I seem to have lost someone. I think Anne's fallen off.
You've lost me.
Shutting the door.
I'm opening the French door. It's so hot.
Okay.
Oh, you like the thing? It's freezing in my room.
Well, the sun's
I've got my ski socks.
Yeah, and in the back, I've got the north room. It's cold.
Okay, so sitting up nice and tall, hold on to those knees, roll those shoulders up to the ears, back and down. Up to the ears, back and down. Holding behind the thighs, push those legs down. So we're opening the chest, lifting up. So you should feel freer in the lower back from what we've done.
definitely.
Okay, pop the hands on the floor behind. And we're going to lean back onto our hands. So soften the elbow. So I don't mind if you want to have your hands turned out. So it's quite, the true Pilates has the fingers pointing to the bum because it's a wrist stretch as well. But I don't mind if your fingers are pointing out a bit because it's quite hard on the wrist. So pull those elbows towards each other. And clench onto the, hang on a minute, just let Anne in. Pull those elbows towards each other. Tighten the thighs and pull your knees down to the floor. Push those elbows straight and push that breastbone up high. So we're pushing the shoulder, the chest forward of the shoulders. So Sarah, draw your tummy in here and make it an even curve with the spine. So if we let go of the hips, we would push the tummy forward and then there's an arch of the lower back, which causes a bit of discomfort. So I want you to tighten the tummy and push the breastbone forward and get the arch there. Okay, clenching the bum, lift your hips up into the sky. Yeah. And then lower yourself down. So it's the same as you did with the bridge, but we're doing it the other way around. So the other way we had the shoulders on the floor and we had our knees bent and we lifted the hips up into that gap. So it's the same thing. You can do this with your knees bent, but it requires more mobility around the shoulder joint. So it's harder they're harder for different reasons. They work on different areas. So pushing those elbows straight, breathing in. Tighten the thighs and the legs, clench the bum, push the toe, bring the toes to your nose, and then push the heels down and the hips up, clench. Good, Jane. Good, everybody. Good, Max. And then lower. Breathing in.
That doesn't hurt at all, that one, for some reason.
No, because you're staying in column. It's bending forwards that's going to be hurting your back, overarching. Breathing in. Breathe out, clench and lift. So get your hips, yeah, so good, Anne. Really clench and lift those hips up high. And then lower down. And then breathing in, one more. Breathe out, clench and lift. Clench and lift. Take that breastbone up, good, Mum. Clench and lift. And lower. Push off those fingers, take your hands on your legs and roll yourself forwards, stretching through that back. So Anne, when you roll forward, does your back hurt?
No.
Okay.
No.
So
In fact, hurting when I'm standing, cooking or walking, I often just do that, touch my toes, and it seems to help.
Right, okay, swing yourself around. Right, so in that case, it would be more about standing in neutral spine, being in neutral. Okay,
Yeah.
come on to all fours. Okay, so cat and dog stretch. So this is the same as what we did when we were sitting, reaching forwards and arching back. So turn the inside of the elbows forward, turn the tailbone down and push the middle of your back up. Eyes come down. So we're in a nice U, upside down U. Turn the tailbone up, bring the tummy to the floor, bring the eyes up, push the chest forward over those fingers. Breathing in, breathing out, turn the tailbone down, push the back up, eyes to the knees. And then turn the tailbone up, bring the belly down, eyes up, lengthen. Come into neutral spine. So that comes from the pelvis. So the middle bottom's pointing straight out backwards, or the pubic bone and the bony bits in the front are horizontal to the floor. Glide backwards, keeping neutral spine. Shut that hip down. Come back up onto all fours. Glide backwards. Come up onto all fours. Glide backwards, chin up, Jane more, chest down. Yeah, good. So get your tummy button onto your thighs, open your breastbone. So this is good for the running, Annie, because it's lifting your knee up in front. You stay in neutral. Squeeze the knees apart on the mat now and pull yourself up by clenching your bum. Good. Ease yourself back down. Jane, more neutral spine, tummy button down, more max chest down. Back of the head up, lengthen your head from your tailbone. So pull the knees apart on the mat and lift your body up. Good. Roll those shoulders back and down, turn the inside of the elbows forward. Okay, step your left foot where your left hand was and come up onto your knee in your hand. Your knee in your foot. Right, so this stretch as well is for walking, and Anne, this is relevant to you for your lower back. So tuck your pubic bone forward, lengthen the body up, and glide the body forward. So my pelvis is vertical. My pelvis is vertical, I'm in neutral spine, and I feel the stretch down the front of this back leg. So this is the same as what we did when we were lying on our side. Pull that knee forward against the resistance of the mat without actually moving it. So we tense the front of this leg. Breathing in on the out breath. Release that tension and glide the body further into the stretch. Increase it by taking this right hand up into the air and pushing that right hand up as if you're trying to reach the ceiling. So we feel the stretch. So really reach it up and over your head, stretching all the way through that side. So Annie, keep your pelvis more vertical. So look at me for a sec, Annie. So I can go all the way down to there, but my pelvis is at an angle now. If I'm here, I tuck forward, my pelvis is in neutral, is vertical, and my leg is going backwards from the pelvis. And I'm reaching up, so you feel the stretch in the front of that hip. So that you're not, and then release. So what you don't want to be doing is being too wiggly here, because that creates, okay, change legs, because that creates the wear and tear on the lower back, and that creates the pain. So the pain that your running coach said to you about being tall and staying as tall and straight as you can. Okay, tuck the pubic bone under, glide the body forward, feel the stretch in the front of that hip, clench the bum and pull that back knee forward without moving it. Yeah, so the stretching up that your running coach said was about keeping this pelvis in neutral. Breathing in. On the out breath, release that tension and push that left arm up into the sky and let that left leg stretch. Stretch through the front, stretch through the side, reaching. So, you know, and you will have degeneration in your hip joint because that's what happens as we, you know, when you've had a life, you've ridden horses, you know, riding horses the hip isn't designed to be with the knees that far apart. So that's a challenge in itself.
Yeah.
Release that arm. And come back onto all fours. Come down so your hands are on the floor. And then we're going to lie on our tummy. So riding, you know, your knees are out sideways, and so there's a pressure on the hip joint where the thigh, you know, the thigh is meant to swing like a pendulum forwards and backwards, not really meant to go out that wide to the side for the length of time we do when we ride on a horse. So right, rest your forehead on the ground. Bring those hands down next to your side, palms up. Roll the shoulders up to the ears, up to the sky. Clench the bum and push that pubic bone into the floor. Push the pubic bone hard into the ground and feel your legs lift up. So as you push that hard down, I'm right down so my thighs are off the floor, my legs are straight, toes are pointed, and then I release. I'm going to clench the bum. Tighten the thighs first so my legs are straight. Clench the bum, push the pubic bone down, and then my legs lift up. And then release. So we're getting the bum to work. So this is the stepping. This is when you're walking. You step, lengthen the leg, clench the bum, and the leg goes behind the body and the body goes forward of the leg. But it should be just coming from the bum muscle. So clenching that bum, and that lower back is free. Draw the tummy in and lift the belly off the floor. Roll those shoulders up to the ears, up to the sky, and lift those arms off the ground. And then pulse those arms up for 3, 2, 1, and release everything down. So Annie, make sure your legs are straight and make sure that your tummy is engaged so that your lower back is not compressing as you push your pubic bone into the floor. So tighten the thighs and lengthen the legs. Point the toes and push those feet away from you. Clench your bum, push your pubic bone in the floor and lift those legs up. Roll the shoulders up to the ears, up to the sky. Draw in the tummy and lift that up. That makes you clench your bum more. Pulse those arms up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release down to the ground. Breathing in. On the out breath, lengthen the legs, clench the bum. Lift those thighs off the floor, push those feet away from you. Draw in your tummy and lift your belly off the floor. Roll your shoulders up to the ears, up to the sky. Keep your forehead on the ground, Jane. Good, and then pulse those arms up for 5, 4, straight arms, 3, 2, 1. Hold those arms there. Now lift those legs up for 3, 2, 1. Now lift those arms up, 3, 2, 1. Now lift both arms and legs, 3, 2, 1, and release down to the ground. Can you feel your bum working?
Oh, yes.
Okay, anyone feel that? If you feel that in your lower back, it's because you're letting the back sag and you're not letting the tummy muscles engage. You're not engaging the tummy muscles quite enough. Okay, so lengthen the leg, tighten the thighs, clench the bum and push the pubic bone in the ground. Lift those left legs off the ground, forehead down. Roll the shoulders up to the ears, up to the sky and down. Bring those arms up behind you. Reach those fingers towards your heels. Lifting those legs up for 3, 2, 1. So my tummy button is just off the floor. Lift those arms up for 3, 2, 1. Lift those legs up, 3, 2, 1. Lift the arms up, 3, 2, 1, and release down to the ground. Bend your arms up. Bend your arms up. Good. Relax that bottom for a minute. Right, now draw in the core and just tilt the pelvis a bit, breathing in. On the out breath, pull the shoulders down and back, and push off those forearms and lift that chest up off the ground, arching that back, the upper back. Pull the tummy in and lift it off. So, Annie, leave your bottom ribs on the floor. Bottom ribs on the floor. So lift the tummy up so it's off the floor. Open the chest up so it's curling. So this is the exercise that feels like nothing, but it is the one that you've got to get for your neutral spine. So you've got to get clenching with the bum, that's engaged, drawing the tummy in, that's protecting the lower back, opening the chest, that's bending the upper back, lengthen the head from the toes, that lifts the feet off the floor, and then release.
Excuse me.
Okay, one more of them. So breathing in. On the out breath, lengthen the legs, lift up off the ground. So we lift the upper body up, so we're lengthening the legs, tighten the thighs, clench the bum, draw in the tummy, push the breastbone forward and open those shoulders, or open the chest and squeeze the shoulders together, and then release. Slide those hands towards the ribs, roll the shoulders up to the ears, down and back, clench the bum, lengthen the legs. Push off the hands and come up onto your crutch. Opening, so again, we're clenching with the bum, pushing the pubic bone down, drawing the tummy in and lifting the belly up, opening the chest, breathing in, breathe out and lower back down. So if you feel that's the lower back, then you're letting the back overarch. So you've got to be tighter with the tummy muscles and tighter with the bum. So roll the shoulders up to the ears, down and back, clench the bum, lengthen the legs. Push off those hands, lift up onto your crutch. Open the chest, draw in the tummy, clench with the bum. And then lower down to the ground. Breathing in. On the out breath, roll the shoulders back and down, clench the bum, push up onto your knees. So straight arms. So tighten the bum, push into the hip flexors, tighten the belly so that you engage and support the lower back. Open that chest, push the head away from the toes, and then lower back down to the ground. Good. So change, that's good, Annie. Change, shoulders back and down. And open that chest more. So this time we're going to do that and go back into child pose. So breathing in. On the out breath, roll those shoulders back and down, lengthen those legs, clench the bum, push the pubic bone in the floor. Breathing in. On the out breath, push the hands in the ground, come up onto the knees, clenching with the bum, drawing in the tummy, open that chest. Breathing in, knees into the ground, up into child pose. So Anne, we need to get more flexion in those hips.
Yeah.
So a bit more, so then you'll be tighter with your bum. So you're a bit, if you look at me for a sec, stay in child pose, but you're a bit bum up. So when I'm wanting you to be dropped here, you're a bit bum up, and then you're sagging in that lower back. Now that hurts my sacroiliac joint. So I lift my tummy up and push my hips down, and then open my chest. Yeah, so tighten your tummy and lift your lower back towards the ceiling. Now clench your bum and push your pubic bone towards the floor more. And then open your chest. Can you feel the difference?
Yes.
Okay, so all of this is about firing order of how to stand, because we forget. Okay, so back in child pose. All right, come back up onto all fours. We're going to lie on our side. Oh, we're not going to lie on our side, are we? Time's whistled away with us. Right, so are you all right for a few more minutes?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so lie down on your side. Support your head under your arm. So we're just going to do the clam, breastbone, tummy button, crutch in a line. So lift that top knee up and lower it. Lift the top knee up and lower it. So this is the keep lifting that knee up, keep the torso still. This is the other exercise that's important for standing, walking, running, because it supports the bum, it stabilizes the leg in the hip joint, and it drives the body forwards over the foot when you're walking and when you're running, and it engages your hips when you're standing. Lift that leg, hold it high. Take that leg backwards, backwards, backwards. So when you stand, you need to have your knees turned out, so your thighs are externally rotated. Back, back, back. One more. Feet together, drop the knee down. Lift that knee up and down 10 times. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, keep the torso still. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, roll over onto the other side. Have those knees bent. Rest the hand on the top of the hip and lift this top knee up and down. Up and down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold it up at 10. Take the top leg backwards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down and up, down and up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, roll yourself over onto your back. Bring those knees into your chest and lift that tailbone up off the ground. Put those feet on the floor, slide them away. Take the arms over your head and reach your fingers from your toes. Take your hands all the way up to the sky, chin into the chest. Roll yourself all the way up to sitting. Hold your hands behind your thighs. Pull yourself forward onto your front bottom. Roll those shoulders up to the ears, back and down. So you should feel freer in your upper back now. Roll those shoulders up to your back and down. Lengthen the head up to the sky, drawing in the tummy like you stop yourself having a wee. Push that right knee down, push the left knee down. Holding up, you can hold the back of the thighs. You can put your hands on the floor behind if you want to lift yourself. Does that feel slightly easier, Anne?
A tiny bit, yes.
Okay, roll
But when I put my hands down, that's better.
Yeah. So, but yeah, because you take some of the load, exactly. But okay, rolling those shoulders, roll those arms. Reach those hands up in the sky and just push those hands up. Pull that shoulder blades back and down. And then bring those arms out wide. Rest them on your legs and roll your shoulders. So you have to remember that you've had, you know, if you were 20, you would make a difference in one session. But
yes.
it's years of
misuse.
Well, yeah, in years of getting into, you know, a way of being which is not helpful because it's causing stretch in that sacroiliac joint, because if you slump out here, you are
Yeah.
causing stretch here. So, you know, so in having sat like that for years, you know, until you're 35, 40, you don't notice that it hurts here. And then, you know, it wasn't until I started riding horses again, and I probably was, how old was I? I'd come back from Australia, so I was 40 something when I started riding. It was 2007, 10 years ago or something, when I started riding. And I was like, my God, I couldn't sit up straight because I sat on the side of boats like this, because we sit under the lifeline, on the rail of a boat like that, or the boat's moving. So you're sitting like this with your feet down in the cockpit.
Yeah.
So to actually hold myself there, I couldn't do it. And I've got horrendous photos of me on my horse when I first got him, sitting in a saddle like I'm sitting on a bus stop. You know, no wonder I mean, and no joke, no wonder he got a sore back, because if I sit on my tailbone, the saddle is in the same place. If I sit up on the saddle here, my seat bones are meant to sit on his T14, his thoracic 14 and 15, because they are the two vertebrae that sit up vertically. And we're meant to sit, our body weight needs to be on them. If we slump backwards, we sit on the spiny processes that are leaning back, and it pivots it, which is why they get a hunter's bump and stuff, and kissing spine and all this stuff. So if I'm slouching back, I'm not sitting in the same place on the saddle. I'm now back on his lumbar spine. So that's why they get pain, and also we end up getting this slouch here. Then we're compressing because we're bouncing, because we're doing sitting trot, or you're on a bicycle doing that, or you're in a car going around roundabouts and potholes doing that. And so you're working this spine here. So you've got to sit up. So when I sit up and run my fingers down my spine, it feels even. When I sit like that, there's lumpy bits, it's uneven, because the vertebrae are sticking out, because they're winging. So it is all about, it's all about gradually getting yourself back up, and then the muscles, you know, you've got to get the muscles have shortened over a long period of time of doing stuff wrong. They shortened and lengthened, and also muscles are meant to be give and take. So if you're like this all the time, your head forward, these muscles become stiff and hard. So when you massage your shoulder, it's like, wow, that's like putting my finger in stone, because they become fibrotic. They should be nice and soft and squidgy, but they would be if we kept our head here, because then they're at the right length. Otherwise, when we're here, they're at pull. So the bungee cord turns into a string, becomes fibrous. And that's where it pulls, and we get aches and things up our neck and all of that. So yeah,